Hey ladies and gents, how are we doing? It's the Lion Raj Singh here from the Lion team. I hope we're all well and been enjoying the blissful weather that we've been having. Although it's been very, very warm and everyone has been really enjoying it, there's some parts of this weather that have left a mark on families all over the country, and unfortunately for the wrong reasons. For those of you that don't know me, I am a previous police officer for just under 15 years in the UK force. I now, along with my colleagues at the Lion Group, we go around the country talking to charity groups, faith groups, schools, and basically anyone who would listen about vulnerable people and how we can keep them safe. It's a big thing for us, and it's something that we really, really take a lot of enjoyment doing. Recently, I learned of a very dear friend of mine who, and her mum, she's a teacher. Actually, she's a retired teacher. She's an old neighbour of mine, and her mum recently passed away. And the circumstances behind her mum passing away were so sad and really heartbreaking, because she lived on her own. She was very, very elderly, very vulnerable. And unfortunately, she died of suffocation whilst in her sleep. Now, it was accidental suffocation. It wasn't any malice involved in it or any third parties. It was accidental suffocation. But she was so frail that she couldn't actually save herself. Now, one of the things that we do is we look and research different ways in how communities and people can get involved in helping the elderly, because it's a big thing. It's a big thing that necessarily we don't maybe see as much, because elderly people maybe don't get out as much. So we've all read in the news, we've seen on Facebook, on social media, about loneliness, how loneliness affects vulnerable people who can't get out of the house. And there's great charities out there who go around, they pick them up and they take them shopping, or they take them to their doctor's appointments and stuff like that. And I recently saw a post on Facebook which was all about people who just set up chairs on the street, and they were inviting people to just come and talk to them. And people were doing it, and it was really, really popular, because loneliness is something that maybe we may have experienced at some point in a small way, but we don't understand, and we maybe don't realise that the elderly experience it a lot. You spent your whole life on, walking around, doing shopping with your family, and then all of a sudden you get old and you're alone. And there's no one there to listen to you. There's no one there to cook for you. No one there to make you laugh or to be there when you're upset. And can you imagine being behind closed doors, and the rest of the world, the other 7 billion people on the planet, have no idea how you're feeling? So we're doing everything we can to try and combat that. In fact, one of my colleagues, one of my very good colleagues, approached me last week and was telling me about her grandmother, who was, again, very elderly, and she was in her house. Now, bearing in mind, it was, nearly 34 degrees outside, and she was in her home, and her heating had come on, and she couldn't switch her heating off. Now, can you imagine that? 34 degrees outside, and her heating was on in the house. And it was only by luck that my colleague went round there to see her. And that just emphasises our kind of mission. Our mission is just to share a little bit of love. Knock on the door next door. Just see if your neighbour's all right, especially if they're elderly. Because if that was your parent or grandparent, you could be saving their life. One in 4 elderly people have falls at home, right? And we're talking not just minor falls. We're talking that they could sometimes be fatal. So just by you knocking on the door, seeing if they're okay, making sure that they've not, there's nothing that they don't need, and if you can help them, then help them. We're all able-bodied people, and if we can share that experience and that love with our elderly human beings, I think all we're doing is spreading some love. That's just some advice, just something from me to you, from the Lion Raj Singh, from the Lion team. It's something that we want to do as soldiers of humanity, something that we pride ourselves with. I hope you're all enjoying the sunshine. Make sure you wear some sunscreen and have a great time. Be soldiers of humanity, ladies and gentlemen.